So, what if the key to building real mental toughness wasn't about positive thinking or trying to avoid stress? What if it was about doing the exact opposite? Okay, let's just dive right into this because today we're going to break down a really powerful, kind of counterintuitive shortcut to forging a mind that's, well, pretty much ironclad. I mean, this quote right here, it just flips conventional wisdom completely on its head, doesn't it? We're always told to run from stress, find that comfort zone. But this suggests that the fastest way to get a calm, resilient nervous system is to actually intentionally and systematically seek out discomfort. Wild. And this lays it out perfectly. There are really two paths you can take. On one side, you've got the slow road. That's the common advice we all hear, right? Thinking positive, meditating. It can work, for sure, but it takes a while. And then you've got the shortcut. This is the direct approach, built on repeated friction and intentional exposure. And that's the path we're going to focus on today. Okay, so how does this actually work? I mean, it sounds great, but what's the mechanism? Well, to understand the method, first we have to understand the why. We need to pop the hood on our brain's internal alarm system and figure out why it's triggering fear in the first place. Here it is. This is probably the most important reframe you can make. Fear is not some fixed part of who you are. It's not a personality trait. Just think of it like a biological glitch in your wiring, a system that's become a little oversensitive. And what's the good news about glitches? They can be fixed. They can be reprogrammed. So let's meet the main culprit behind this little glitch. It's a part of your brain called the amygdala. This is your internal alarm system. Now, it's designed to protect you from real, actual danger, but in our modern world, it gets tripped up all the time by psychological stuff, creating anxiety where there's no real physical threat at all. So, and this is a crucial point, we are not trying to get rid of the alarm system. We actually need it. The goal is to recalibrate it, to teach it the difference between a tiger in the bushes and a tough conversation with your boss. We're just going to tune it down, turning those huge, paralyzing fears into something more like manageable background noise. Okay, so let's build on this. Now that we've got the why sorted out, we can get into the how, the actual practical blueprint, the step-by-step process for engineering courage and recalibrating that overactive amygdala. The proven psychological approach behind all of this has a bit of a fancy name. It's called systematic desensitization. It sounds complex, but it's really just a structured, scientific way of dismantling your fears piece by piece. At its core, this technique does something that is just incredible. It combines two totally opposite states. You gradually expose yourself to something that scares you while you are in a state of deep relaxation. That combination, that's the magic. It teaches your brain to associate the stressful thing with calm and control instead of panic. It literally rewires its response. And the process itself is broken down into 4 pretty clear, manageable steps. First, you get really good at relaxation techniques, deep breathing, that kind of stuff. Second, you map out your fears. You make a list, from the least scary thing to the absolute most terrifying. Third, you start exposing yourself to those things. But, and this is key, you start with the easiest one on the list. And fourth, with every little success, you reinforce that new confidence, building momentum to climb up to the next challenge. Okay, so we've got the theory, we've got the blueprint, but what's this all for? What's the point? Let's talk about how this mental training actually translates into real-world skills that can completely change how you move through life. And the applications are just so practical. I mean, this is the tool students can use to crush exam stress, that professionals use to get over stage fright, that athletes use to handle the pressure of the big game. It can be applied to literally anything, from a serious phobia of heights to the day-to-day challenge of social anxiety. It is a universal toolkit for courage. And that really brings us to the ultimate takeaway here. Fortifying your mind was never about becoming fearless. It's about building the ability to function, to perform, to act while you feel that fear. Real courage is looking that fear in the eye and taking action anyway. So, this leaves us with one final, powerful question for you. You now have the blueprint. You have the tools to dismantle the things that are holding you back. The only thing left to decide is, where are you going to start? What is the very first fear you will choose to turn into nothing more than background noise?